I talked about this idea for a whole year and everybody told me it was the stupidest thing they'd ever heard of. But I ignored them and kept going and found people who shared the vision, and it ended up becoming, I believe, the world's largest community arts project ever.
A quilt commemorating 40,000 people who died from AIDS has gone on display in Washington.
Quilts traditionally were made from cast-offs, taking scraps of fabric that are of different colors and different textures and sewing them into something that is warm and comforting. I thought it would be good therapy for people who were deep in grief. I thought of it also as a tool to help the media understand that behind all of those horrendous statistics were actual human beings that were part of families and communities and neighborhoods. But I was never really prepared for the sheer beauty of it. In the early 1970s, I was one of many thousands of young gay and lesbian kids who got here any way we could. Of course, at that time, it was still a felony to be gay in this country. It was still a felony in California. So we lived under a great deal of repression and fear.
I think, this idea that gays are going to take over city government, I think it's amusing when I hear that.
There were a few blocks within the city where we could be completely free and be ourselves, and that meant you could hold hands with your partner, you could kiss. To come here and to find this vibrant, welcoming community was incredibly exciting.
In 1981, American doctors were baffled by a bizarre disease. Within 6 years, AIDS has spread to 71 countries and infected up to 10 million people.
We're filming this interview at a restaurant called Catch at the corner of Castro and Market Street. I was living just a couple of blocks here when I read those first stories about this new disease. That was the summer of 1982. By the fall of 1985, almost everyone I knew was dead or dying. We very quickly came to understand the signs. People who just a few weeks or months before had been athletic and healthy were suddenly getting these purple lesions. People began to get skinny. We saw people die all around us. On one block in my neighborhood, everybody died in the span of 2 years. Ultimately, over 20,000 gay men would die in this neighborhood. I actually acquired the virus in the winter of 1978, 1979. I did not begin to show signs of that infection until 1992. I got very, very sick very, very quickly and came close to dying in 1994 before I got access to one of the very first clinical trials. I admit there are days when I still feel just overwhelmed by grief. I miss my friends. I miss them a lot. I barely passed high school biology, but I understood clearly that there was no such thing as a gay virus, and that what we were experiencing here was going to be experienced by all sorts of different kinds of people all around the planet. I remember one day exclaiming in rage to my friends, if this was a meadow with 1,000 corpses rotting in the sun, then people would look at this, they would see it. So each panel is 3 feet by 6 feet, the approximate size of a grave. And that was deliberate. I wanted to show how much land would be covered if all of these bodies were lined up head to toe. By October 11th of 1987, we had collected 1,920 individual panels, and they were placed on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., and ended up on the front page of just about every newspaper in the world. Once people could see what I was talking about, then they kind of got the power of it. This quilt is a pretty extraordinary testament to what we went through, and it's a place that's known for its monuments. They're made out of stone and steel, and we took a monument there that was made of cloth and thread and sewn by ordinary Americans and people from all over this planet who loved someone who died of AIDS and wanted them to be remembered. It was that simple and that amazing.
Exactly as I planned. With a chunk of my estate in hand, they rented my favorite restaurant, drank champagne and margaritas, laughed at memories as tears and beers were spilt, unveiled my panel for the quilt, then went dancing and tossed my ashes like confetti onto that dance floor where we had played and played before. Oh, we did know how to party. We heard the sound of sirens in the city calling us to join the dance, and met in heady days of liberation from our fears, a late night celebration of how good it felt to say, I am here and I am gay. Yes, we sometimes went too far. Too many drugs, too many men. But when that world began to die, I marveled at the way the movers of the stylish scenes, the stunning hunks, the disco queens, became the leaders of the fight, ever constant flames of light in death's cold and lonely night. The focus of my younger days was largely split between Dad's body shop and sewing upon Mom's old machine. Me, the track and field star, working on my souped-up car, then whipping up fantastic frocks. Oh, for me, or anybody. I always kept them under locks. But later on, that skill of sewing and design led to a modicum of fame. And many women wore my name. When I found out my life would end from AIDS, I began to sew the panel that would show my name upon this quilt. As I surveyed the thousands honored here tonight, I wish I could throw them all a party to celebrate the life they had. Do not be sad. You who are the living still have love to give and troubled hearts to fill with hope. Do not berate yourselves with what you wish you could have said before it was too late. Honor us with song and dance. And don't forget to celebrate!
As soon as I could, I fled the wretched town in North Dakota. I ran straight to New York City, caught a cab to Christopher Street, took my suitcase at my feet, and ordered something a bit too sweet, and stayed till closing. Yeah, glorious virility, overwhelming my eyes, and the disco sound assaulted my ears, and the small town beers floated right away, as I sat day after day, watching the parade life. Life all around me here in the village. No more Dakota drudgery. Instead, the neon pulse Manhattan-driven beats of punky boys and men, complete with minds set to compete for the best this world gives in one small place. For these were the winners of the race. So I got a job and settled in a studio, so long and thin that even the sofa bed scraped the wall when open, which was all the time. For who knew when some stranger, dark, sublime, would stumble in and leave me lying with a grin across my face that even work could not erase. But then the plague descended, and my days of bliss were ended. Gradual first, then slowing, till there seemed no chance of slowing its advance. Death all around me here in the village. The boys, the men, never to be seen again. And I among them, watching still, even here, upon the hill of the town which I despised, ever glad that I devised some means of sweet escape. For though I was set out after life, at least I found some pleasure where I fled.
I didn't do nothing that plenty of other people were doing all along. So why was I the one that had to die, getting hit with this AIDS shit? God damn, it pissed me off. Everything from the doctor to the cough that wouldn't quit gave me pain in my left tit. And just as a point of reference, fuck the term sexual preference. I never asked to be this way. I never wanted to be gay. I did not request the gift of birth and didn't want my time on earth to be cut short. Forgive me if I'm not spoiled about all this. Now that I have kicked the bucket, all I have to say is, fuck it!
Hey! Here's a good one. Wait. Look at it wet. Tripping
on a beach in Provincetown. The day was gray, the light diffused whatever substance we had used, which made the tiny hues of the rocks along the shore shine like gems in Harry's store. And there we were, Billy, Patrick, Mitch, Doug, and me, loony as five guys could be, jumping up in ecstasy over each discovery of a new stone, whose colors we would find alone and then share with all the others. Look! Ooh! Ah! Someone had the revelation that the unique configuration of the tiny designs was more remarkable when the stones were wet. So, we put them in our mouths. This sufficed more easily than always having to cross to the sea. Oh, we were loony as can be. Demosthenes, I yelled! Demosthenes! Take those marbles out of your mouth and eat your dinner! And then we would scream and carry on. Oh, how we laugh at times like those. How sad those times came to a close. First, Mitch got sick. We mourned him so. For the rest, began to go. Grief subsiding not one bit before another friend was hit. When I succumbed, I fought the dark, which numbed my mind, by focusing on when we were all on that beach. And my last request to Doug, besides the final healthy hug, was to take my charred remains and toss them along that shore to blend with pebbles evermore. I was ugly as could get, but thought to myself, hey, I look better wet.
Those days, life was one big party. Floating on balloons of fantasy. When I felt so high, I could fly right through the blue. Your standard lights of my well-rehearsed view was I'm holding on to you. Yes, I'm holding on. Never leave that you come along to pursue someone new, 'cause I'm holding on to you.
Still don't know just when the party ended. Haven't started learning to let go. I can't say goodbye and can cry for those waiting you. I can't even try to do more than refuse, so I'm holding on to you. Yes, I'm holding on. Won't admit to what's gone, and don't long for the dreams to pursue, 'cause I'm holding on to you.
Feels like we're ballooning through the storm clouds. Someone let us loose and off we flew. No instructions, no crew, not a clue what to do. So I'm holding
on. Yes, I'm holding on. Won't admit to what's gone, and don't long for new dreams to pursue, 'cause I'm holding on. Yes, I'm holding on. I'm holding on to you. I shouldn't be here. They got it wrong. No AIDS. Not me. That is why I don't belong. I did get sick and checked into the hospital, but quick. Do I, doctor? Is it AIDS? Studied silence spoke in spades. So, I took an easy exit from my window. 8 stories high. At least I died on my first try. Afterwards, the test came back and showed an overwhelming lack of antibodies. I didn't have it. I was wrong. And now I'm where I don't belong. This quilt is fine for those who did, but not this kid. I always got what I went after. So, when I heard the music of his laughter across the bar, where every self-appointed star thought it wasn't cool to smile, I clicked my heels across the tile to his side and said, I have something to confide. I'm completely over black apparel. It signifies a total lack of individuality. I like your smile. And you're very red. I knew he'd fall into my bed. He did. One more slightly spoiled kid who had it all and wanted more, spinning my revolving door. Except I didn't send him back to that world all dressed in black. I kept him there, with me, in bed. And I bought him more clothes colored red. Then, after one fun night of takeouts and videos, he bursts into tears. I'm bi, he says. And I'm sick. And real quick, I jump in. No, you're not sick. You're hot. No wonder guys want what you've got. Not this. Not AIDS. And when he died, he left me these. Some crimson shirts. And his disease. I never thought I'd end up dead. Because I loved a boy in red.
I loved getting high. Any old drug I was happy to try. And new medications. Or combinations. Telling a junkie she could die from sharing needles is like telling the government there's no more money. Honey, it just don't register. So it was absolutely no surprise when AIDS hit me right between the eyes. That brought me down. So I searched the town for a connection to go the opposite direction. Crack is cheap. Oh, it works. The drawback is it comes with jerks attached. But having sex with 20 guys can get you several lovely eyes. I ended on the street.
Please, sir, spare me some change so I can eat.
And when a sympathetic passerby drops some money in my cup, I return to shoot it up. One day, this woman looked right at me my response. Good enough to live in hell! She took me to an office filled with other chicks, putting in their do-good licks by trying to get me help. Oh, I was sick. All sorts of female infections, which various inspections revealed were caused by AIDS. Sorry, those don't qualify for government assistance. Even if I wanted to get off drugs, which I certainly did not, no room in rehab. So if you're gonna buy it fun, what's one more needle in your arm? That woman did all she could. Those like me. They were cool. And they did try. But they weren't as good as getting high.
Oh, I've lived enough. Thank you very much. I was just as happy it was over. No, I wish the ending wasn't quite so dressy. And I died in something a bit more dressy. Still, I'm not sure it's any worse than living out the age-old curse of fading into a tired queen with a fallen arse. Watching seasons slowly pass in some fucking piano bar, wishing. I was young and fun. Filling out like a pack of gum. I was always first to scoff at couples made of two old men. I'd rather be the lonely head chasing after chicks, who sometimes have the yearn to learn some antiquated tricks. The end. The end was not a pretty scene. All in all, perhaps less me than years of me getting old and crotchety, always bitching, giving guff. Oh no, my dears, I lived in hope.
My sister went through men faster than I did. Well, almost. Some of them were losers. Some were boozers. Some of them were cute. One of them was a real beauty. That was Brian, husband number 3, or maybe 4, I don't remember anymore. He lasted longer than the rest, but not forever, which was best. Somehow our friendship survived the end of their relationship. We shared a common bond of loving sand and water, framed by a frond or two of pond, hot, bright sun, and the barn of island breezes. We dreamed of moving to the tropics, of leaving behind the aroma of soggy old Tacoma. Don't misconstrue, he was hetero through and through, but we could do most anything together and have a real good time. And then the whole thing. When I confess how messed up I was inside, he took action. Cold and sick, said, pick your iron. Flew us there like that, where we just sat, watched the tide wash in and out. Talked about what life was all about. When we returned, he learned so many ways to help. How to change my soaking sheets without disturbing all the tubes. How to give medications. How to fight dull administrations of hospitals and agencies. Of when to bark and when to bite. When to hold my hand so tight, I'd see beyond my fading sight. Of all the friends I ever had, Brian was the straightest, but certainly the greatest. Yes, my friend, it's raining again today. I never understood why you chose to stay in a climate that's mostly wet and gray. When what you loved was the sun so hot, it turned the grass brown, and the rain keeps falling down. On the sky would cry itself dry. By this time, thought that I would see the sun by now. One more tear might wash away this God-forsaken town. But the rain keeps falling down. Who am I? A regular kind of guy. I never let the clouds clutter up my sky. I learned to party, but never learned to cry. And even now my tears won't move. You're painted on a cloud, and the rain keeps falling down. Wish that I could let go, like a storm cloud, burst through the dam like a flood, breaking down the wall. Nothing seems to be the far less reason, but I can cry and more. Thought the sky would cry itself dry. By this time, I thought that I would see the sun by now. One more tear might wash away this God-forsaken town. But the rain keeps falling down. Yes, the rain keeps falling down.
Mamacita, Mamacita Sultano. Mi madre of the heart, del corazon. My own mother smashed a blessed porcelain virgin on the floor, screamed, "Get out!" Unlocked the door. No way to change minds. I was gone. Another sorrow left behind. Mrs. Saldano, Chico's mom, tried to reason with my mother. Whatever he has done, he is still your son. But nothing could be said. To her, I was already dead. So my new mamacita let me stay, and came each day to sit beside my bed and pray. In my room, she placed a statue of the Holy Mother, carved in burnished wood, whose silent smile whispered that she understood my fear, and promised that she would be near. Dear Mamacita Soldano, for treating me like your own son, and never questioning what I'd ever done to end this way. Mi madre didn't want me. I never knew mi padre, but I found comfort thanks to you, my dear adopted madre.
Figures! Figures! Some guy would give me this. They've always given me so much. Papa used to give me the business since I was 10. And when I cried, he'd tan my hide and give gifts which hurt much more than his disgusting rod. And then there was Harry, Dick, and Tom. They gave me wedded bliss, a kiss of violence. Their beer was too hot, or dinner cold, or they were feeling out of sorts. Such sports. How many gave me money for a little bit of head? I never was that good at math, so we'll count tenderness instead. And then there were the dudes who gave me coke and hop and lewds to dull the edge. Help me relax. Keep me chugging down the tracks. Of all the gifts I got from them, I should have loved it when I passed that lethal present on. Except the man I gave it to. Was my own boy, born with AIDS, a ticking bomb that would destroy him. I guess it's best he never knew exactly what this world could do. And what kind of man would he have been with all of my goodwill towards men?
I was an ordinary Joe. Took life and even breakfast slow. I never scaled the heights or saw too many sights. I did my part, kept the book in order,
and the cart behind the horse never waved off my course. Except that time when Emily announced she wanted a divorce. I walked out with no emotion shown. The door swinging on a broken hinge and dived into the most unlikely binge. Me, awakening in a house of ill repute, where several things did not compute. How I got there, what I'd done, if only my one lapse of grace had at least been fun. And in my bed, a little chick with hair so red, it seemed her sordid life had bled right through her empty head. This was not a world I knew. Numbers, columns, neat and true. I only visited by chance and left that awful circumstance as soon as I could find my pants! My life is not like magic. No headline screams my fate. My death was not caused tragic by the fourth estate. Living with the secret, I would sometimes overhear other men make fun of warnings they should fear, a play of retribution of those who did not go near. Somehow, I could not tell them what they didn't want to know. A virus isn't picky about where it wants to grow. They never dreamed to live next door in ordinary Joe. Ha! Ha! I didn't give a flying fuck for anybody. No one gave a fuck for me. I went straight from the doctors, where I got the news that I would lose this stinking curse called life. I went from that announcement directly to the bath, and I fucked every jerk I could. I'd finish, and he'd say, Daddy, that was good. And I'd crack a grin and slowly stick the dagger in. Boy, it could be said that I fucked you to death, 'cause I have AIDS. And now, so do you. Yeah, boy. Now you've got it too. And I let that sink in a bit. Wait for the tears. The little shit. Then I quit that lousy fuck small room and go look for someone else to do.
There was a time when I was known as loose. Candidates were fine if I was out of goose. Chickens flying in and out my door, but I don't do that anymore.
I used to drink like a dried up whale, swallow the brine till I was on my tail. Dive for goldfish on the barroom floor, but
I tried it all at least once before, but I don't do that anymore. I must admit I've had some regrets.
After the race, you can't change your bets.
But feeling guilty is a terrible force, so I don't do that anymore. I don't lose my head, I don't toss my hat. I tried it all at least once before, but I don't do that anymore. No, I don't do this, and I don't do that. I don't lose my head, I don't toss my hat. I tried it all at least once before, but I don't do that. No, no, no. I don't do that. No, no, no. We don't do that anymore. We don't do that anymore.
Maybe I'd seen too many TV movies of the week, but I thought terminal diseases were inherently dramatic. Oh, mine was at first, but when the worst had passed, that fast trip to the hospital, intensive care, to recovering, to where I could go home, go back to work, and make it through the day. Well, hey, it was just the same old, boring shit like before. I wanted more. I wanted neat, dramatic takes, building to commercial breaks. I wanted Mother to be played by Liza, struggling to entertain me through her tears. I wanted fireworks. I wanted drama. Not dull routines of AZT. Another test. One more IV. And all the rest mundanely. Oh, why can't death be like TV?
I didn't know what else to do. No auditions come through. Hadn't worked in for too long. The room I had for just a song was locked one day. When I came back, all my stuff stacked in the hall. I had to call folks and borrow money to go home. It's funny how she called it that. I felt like I'd been born in hell. Escaped. I lived to tell the tale of growing up the tainted son of fundamentalists from whom I'd run the opposite direction. I had a voice, and I made a choice to sing secular creations, despite my parents' protestations. I knew the scores of all the shows by heart, and got a start in Up With People. Pretty corny, but some of us were horny for the big time and auditioned for a Broadway tour. Sure enough, I got it. That was my finest hour. How did such sweetness turn so sour? To get my folks to take me in, I had to ask forgiveness for my sin. When they seen a chance to win a wayward soul to Christ, they agreed to take me back. Which turned out as pleasant as the rack. And as I lay there, hurting so, surrounded by fanatics, wailing and screaming cheap dramatics in unrecorded tongues,
I used the air lifting my lungs, to sing the scores of all the shows I knew by heart, to drown them out. But they would shout, "Begone, Satan! Begone! Take your demon music back below, Satan!" But I would crow, "Can't you see? This is hell! What could possibly be worse? Didn't Jesus say, love and nurse the sick, embrace those who transgress? Where is he in this sorriness?" Maybe Christ heard that anguished scream. Then I dreamed it, a dream of a lovely Broadway show, where I was left to sing so beautifully that all the angels will applaud me.
The miracle at last reprieve allowed me to take my leave. Lost in a dream of make-believe.
Everyone said I was crazy to marry him. Beneath your station. Or, why a man from Iowa when Kansas is full of good ones? Or, a family like that, marked by disease, must be paying for sins hiding somewhere in their family trees. But I liked him. And his folks. And even though he and all his brothers had hemophilia, the experts assured us that it was carried by the mothers, and therefore our sons would not suffer that affliction. And they didn't. Not our boys, Daryl and little Gus. Something else was wrong with them. They weren't like other babies, but sickly and distressed. Before too long, we found out it was AIDS. My husband got it for treatments for his useless blood. Passed it on to me. And we gave it to the boys. Gave them death as surely as we gave them life. I watched my babies die. And then my Gus. Only me was left of us. And then my mind began to go. Other people let me know that I was acting strange. Like at the church dinner, when I opened up the salt shaker and dumped the contents all over everybody's meals. And cried and screamed and started taking off my clothes to let the demons out. I had one last reprieve of sudden clarity when I could see what needed to be done. I got a gun that Gus had left behind. Shot all the chickens and the cats. Set fire to the house and the barn. Went back to get that special yarn I ordered from Des Moines. And was eaten by the flames. They said I was crazy. Wonder if I was. The lines are very hazy between I us and cause. Here is a little trick. To find out who your friends really are. Contract a terminal illness and tell everyone you have it. Make a list. Cross off those who insist on asking, how'd you get it? And under the heading of friends that are true, work those who asked, can I do?
My news caused such a flurry of liberal concern at the company, where I had been pointed to as pride of proof that executives in charge of sales do not entirely consist of Caucasian males. Oh, the rallying rounds of well-intentioned types who really showed their strengths by asking all the wrong questions. And anyone who did was banished from the realm. And I was virtually alone. At the helm of my careering life, wondering what the hell I would do when the killer coursing through my body reached full concentration. Then, my secretary. Something of a sight, in outfits more appropriate for night, closed the office door, burst into tears and apologies. Having worked for me for years, she knew my moods and needs and fears instinctively, and made my life of dying much easier for me. She was there, and showed her genuine concern and care by reading to me when I was too ill to do so on my own. I requested Prost and Wolf and Gertrude Stein. She tried, but couldn't get through 2 sentences of those. As an alternative, she chose the book she'd read her children. Very soon I knew every fairy tale and kitty ditty by heart. And then she'd start again. Oh, I'd sigh. Go back. You have a life, your family, your feeding. But she would just continue reading. She only stopped when I did too. The company held a tasteful little service that she was not invited to. It treated her, my one true friend, worse than they did me. But she will have my gratitude for all eternity.
Since this was my swan song, I was gonna play it for all it was fucking worth. On one of my early visits to one of my early doctors, I collapsed in the waiting room and received the most delicious attention. That's when I knew I could do this episode like a true blue diva and go out in a blaze of style, not seen since Garbo graced the silver screen. I took to wearing lots of black, pearls cascading down my back, a tasteful camellia behind one ear, sometimes a veil. So queer! But they'd remember when I was gone. So I just carried on, and on, and on. All my life, I had been tormented by the fearful and demented creeps who couldn't see that laughter keeps the soul so free. Even death would smile at me. And in the end, there on that board, truly gained my life's reward. An audience, captive and enthralled, the odd venue where I was called to entertain, the challenge to erase the pain for just a while, to get a laugh or cause a smile where none had been for many days. Showbiz works in wondrous ways. So, now you know this diva story ended in a blaze of glory.
I did not want a soul to know. If word got out that I had that, fear would flood the laundromat. Who would want to wash her clothes in machines which had held those of someone touched by a flame? What would people think? I knew they would create a stink or nod and wink behind my back. Those too frightened to attack. My daughter, Meg, the firebrand, would have sued the doctors who never came to the conclusion that the source was a transfusion. But I said no. I did not hearken to attention, did not relish mention of my name in connection with this shame. Still don't like it when they still to read my name here on this quilt. I made no fuss and did my dying on a ward, the only place I could afford, filled with types I'd never dreamed of. Wasn't that fate's final kicker? Freaks and grandma getting sicker. Before I knew it, I was caring, despite whatever they were wearing. And they enjoyed my company. got it. You're singing. It's good to make friends as you go. But better other folks don't know.
Home was such sweet medicine. The mountain breezes cooled my fear. The untouched vistas left me feeling near the undeniable intelligence which created the myriad details of natural beauty. The wild jazz of 100 birds, a shock of sunflower underlying the purple mountains, pure, crisp air, filling my tired lungs with hope. Dad said, "Well, son, if you're sick, you better come on home." Not many secrets in that town. Word got out that I was back before I girded for attack. I got a call, anonymous, which said, "Wish you were dead, and don't come to the school reunion." I was numb with fright when I limped into the room that night. I had always been the different one. Cruel youth had its fun at my expense. Jokes had been my sole defense. Then, April, still as tall and lean as when she was homecoming queen, said, Walter, is that you?" Came floating through the crowd and said, loud enough for all to hear, "Our Walter has come home." Those words were like the first few drops of rain, which led to showers of kindness from that community. There is no immunity to fear, but those dear people conquered that disease with care. And my old pops harvested a crop of decency in that time of our despair. Somewhere, there is an undeniable intelligence behind the beauty of that place. And in the love on that town's face.
Celebrate the life of rain.
was a big girl, I knew the score. Messed around, went back for more. Played the game with Mr. Jones. Never shared his habits, but they crept into my bones. But hey, like I say, I was a big girl. And big girls don't cry. They take their mistakes and die. Without jumping into lakes of tears, they say, "Fuck you, world! I've had enough! Unless you're into playing rough, don't mess with me, because I'm a big girl." But not my child. My sweet Arlette. Not old enough to think of boyfriends yet, but wise enough to understand that others in the barrio would burn us out if they discovered what my sickness was about. So my sweet girl, not even 10, became the woman of the house, and I became her child. Totally dependent on her makeshift meals, her daring deals to get prescriptions, her descriptions of the world beyond my bed. I don't ask for pity. Don't cry because I'm dead. But somewhere in the city is an angel. A girl. A tiny gem who knows exactly what it means to be a big, big girl.
At first, none of our nurses wanted anything to do with anyone with AIDS. That made me crazy, because I was gay, and therefore safe. At least at first. But not from seeing old friends die. So, I volunteered for the new AIDS ward, and in about 2 minutes flat, I realised that professional standards did not apply. I just had to cry and watch these people die. They needed hugs and common decency, much more than some invasive test which might prolong their lives for 20 minutes more, at best. I stood it for a couple of years, until my well ran dry of tears. The day before my leave was due, a pregnant woman raised on crack had to be restrained. While I was giving her an injection, her hand got loose. I pricked myself with her injection. I found my way back to my ward by quite a different road. But now, many, like me, helped with the load of details and of boredom that dying holds in store. And I was very proud to be back in that place once more. Sometimes we make a difference by doing what we must, or leave some small impression in life's enduring dust.
I was always sick. And nobody would pick a baby who had AIDS to make their very own. So the hospital was home. My mom went away. And there was no one else to say that I belonged to them. Nearly every day, someone came to play. Doctors or nurses, or ladies with big purses. They usually had some presents. And even caretakers were always checking in on me, which is like a family's supposed to be. Sometimes I'd see kids with parents on TV,
I've wondered, what is wrong with me?
In the canyons of death, friends alive in the days, silently fighting their way through the haze. Many unconscious tools lying in town, though they lie there unmoving, there are heroes all around.
In apartments and wards, the angels did stand to cool the fever, to sit with a friend, to fill in the void where no family is found. But they'll never admit it, they are heroes all around.
They're out there right now, fighting a war, creating miracles, working for more. Their deeds unrewarded, their glory unproud. No missions rewarded, but there are heroes all around. We all can be heroes by giving a hand, running an errand or making a stand. Let's fight heaven's sorrow with feet on the ground. In the war for tomorrow, we need heroes. We need heroes. We need heroes. We need heroes.
I couldn't wait to go to Vietnam. I loved my country. Though the pansies and the preppies thought we fought for no good reason, I called it treason to doubt our elected leaders. Those pinkos and liberal-hearted bleeders have no idea what goes on in the real world. I was young, too green to understand what I'd gotten into. But it was easy to get out. Powders and potions laying all about, so cheap and easy. Sliding into dreams so quick. The silencing of screams heard earlier that day. Screams of boys no longer here to play in fields of poppies, and of spice. Nice. And eventually, euphoria! You're going home! Yo, let's go! I loved my country. Took an oath. No more needles, no more dope. Now, my veins were full of hope. Parades are nice. Jobs are better. We had neither. Got a letter from my fiancée. Hey, sorry, what to say?
met a guy, you were away. So I searched out my old friend from Nam. Of course, Uncle Sam had raised the price by quite a bit and stepped on it until it took a lot more shit to hear the band, to fill my veins with Disneyland. I drifted for a while, and one day awoke to yet another cosmic joke, another war, a battle of the blood, the fuel of my dreams, attacked by some new enemy, and it advanced invisibly by hypodermic legacy until, at last, it had found me. I was certain somebody would do something, that in this country I still loved somehow and went to battle for, were soldiers who would fight for me. But nothing. Bullshit. Silence. So many more than dying now. Not killed by dukes who gave a damn, but by neglect of bureaucrats we certainly did not elect, who ignored both threat and fact, and casually refused to act. Act up! Act up! Shame! 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 For shame! History will place the blame on presidents and pussy-footed troops, whilst our mothers sit on stoops and cry for those lost needlessly. America! America! God shed his shame on thee! History will recall. Bureaucrats did nothing at all! History will recall. Bureaucrats did nothing at all! Gay, straight, black, white, same struggle, same fight! Gay, straight, black, white, same struggle, same fight! Act up, fight back, fight AIDS! Act up, fight back, fight AIDS! We are everywhere! We are everywhere! We are everywhere!
Go back! Go back to your closets! Can't you see how unseemly you appear? Shouting you are queer? Well, my dear, we did things differently back in my time. This aberration was better left a crime. Of course God punished us with sickness and disease. We would not please him. We would not be what nature had intended. Fitting, we were ended in such an unseemly manner.
We are everywhere. We are everywhere.
Especially those who wave the banner advertising our transgressions to the world. My flag was not unfurled. I suffered for my sin, kept it well within the bounds of moral approbation, and died in silent conflagration. Blessed is the one who blames his own creation of hell flames.
If you should get the diagnosis and find your T-cell count is dropping, I would offer this prognosis. Time to do some heavy shopping! Go ahead and buy like mad everything you wish you had. Take your plastic and go crazy. Shopping sprees aren't for the lazy. Don't stop to question what you need. The point here is to spend with speed. Jaguars, jewelry, don't think twice. Timeshares are especially nice. And may I offer one last word? Advice I wish I had heard. If spending makes you feel alive, die before the bills arrive.
Certain folks stack up their gold, tuck it safely in my home. The future could be rough and deny themselves the hardest time.
spend it while you can. You better spend it while you can.
Well, weren't we a pretty pair? You, bedridden and incontinent. Me, covered with lesions, trying to take care of you. At home! Oh, our families, oh, wonderful. My sister, Judith, the hotshot lawyer from the East, drew up our wills, airtight, so that our dying wish could never be denied, and we would spend eternity sleeping side by side. And at your bed, your parents said, "You are an angel to our son. The two of you behave as one. Our family plot has room for you, but when it is time, you'll be there too." They stood beside me at your grave, trying to be brave as you were lowered in the ground. Oh, what a lonely, shocking sound. And then your parents turned around and said, "You are a disgrace. We never want to see your face again." And the stress of knowing that the earth would not caress us there together put me, well, under the weather. My sister took a leave of absence, nursed me to my end, and then took an even longer stay to remain here by the bay and fight in court. She would not leave until she could retrieve your body. At last, we lie together and leave behind this legacy. Now surely, there is no dichotomy as good and bad as family.
My brother lived in San Francisco. He said he finally found his place. And when I go to San Francisco, everywhere I look, I see his share
told everyone, if I die from AIDS, I want my panel to be fabulous. I was very clear about this. I mentioned it several times. So why did I get a beach towel with hand-drawn lettering and a teddy bear? A teddy bear! Do you have any idea how many goddamn teddy bears there are on this quilt? I'm sorry. It's just not me. I deserve something more special. Something original. Like Rock Hudson. Now there was a panel. That rainbow. Those colors, the glitter. Oh. I know I should not be bitter. At least I was remembered, but I requested fabulous. It isn't fair to die and then be suffering from panel envy.
When the doctor told me the meaning of the purple spot, I started reading. Everything. That was my way. To learn all I could and try to understand. Where did this come from? African monkeys? Or experiments gone astray in the secret labs of CIA apparatchiks? Or was it an unintended side effect of radiation, chemicals, or some other alteration in the world of nature? And since the consequence would surely be the end of what was known as me, I read all that had been said of death and found a common thread. Besides the tunnel and the light, a sense, overwhelming and immense, of complete and instant understanding. Yes, I thought, that is it. That would be grace, to fully comprehend why so many are suffering, why so many are dead or dying, why friends and families are crying, why me? And if I could understand the tragedy of unearned death, perhaps I'd also understand the mystery of a lonely life, the need, the void, the endless tomes, the libraries where longing roams. As I breathed my rasping last, alone, I stopped the quest for comprehending more and let myself, so dark and slow, be filled with light and peace, primary and expanding, a peace which passed all understanding.
I've told you of the party when I died, the celebration of my life which ended. But living is what matters, and I lived with AIDS for years, fought the virus, indifference, and outright cruelty surrounding it, fought each invader of my body, fought my fear of death and the unknown. The fight sustained and connected me with others, made life as rich as it had ever been. You who hear me now and also fight, you who know the terror of the night, also know that you are living with, not dying from, and that thin line between your world and mine is an illusion. For on either side of that divide, the truth is, we are going on. My friends, time will have its way, and all of us must leave. But not before one final tale, one story more, of lessons difficult to know. Not giving up, but letting go.
I fought the end with all my strength, determined to extend the length of this, my time. I struggled so to catch each breath. I would not be caught by death. Douglas, sitting there in that awful metal chair, where he had been for months, it seems. But I had dreamed it all. This pallid room, the antiseptic base perfume. No, he had been there all along. Knowing love make me strong. But finally, he held me close and tight for steaming hours in the night. He whispered, "Let it go. You're fabulous, you know. Have done and given all you could. None of us would blame you. All the quits. This is what true love permits. The strength to say goodbye. I'm tired. Too tired to try. It's not hard to slip away. Douglas holding me that way. I think I smiled, at least inside, knowing love never died. My nephew Scott is ready to start walking. He grabs my leg to reach a new plateau. Soon he'll be exploring new directions. All it takes is learning to let go. My sister Jane has been so understanding. There's no need to explain, she seems to know. She holds Scott with such love and protection. But one day she'll be learning to let go. So thank you for being my foundation, for giving me a boost when I was low. Your courage is my inspiration. I guess it's time I'm learning to let go. Thankful you could get to know my family. Wish that you would hear to see Scott grow. He's holding on like there is no tomorrow. And all of us are learning to let go. I want to thank you for being my foundation, for giving me a boost when I was low. Your courage is my inspiration. I guess it's time I'm learning to let go. I want to thank you for being my foundation, for giving me a boost when I was low. Your courage is my inspiration. I guess it's time I'm learning to let go. I want to thank you